Can you see my Invisalign?
No, you can't.
Alright, calm. I'm quite nervous.
How now, brown cow?
How now, round cow?
Ready?
No, I'm going to say action.
Action, baby. Who the hell are you?
So I'm Shaq, I'm 28.
I'm Niaz.
I'm Rahat. I'm 28 years old.
I'm 28 and I live in London.
I'm one of the co-founders of Millennial Money. So work part-time as a content creator, and then for my day job, I work for Monzo as a business analyst.
I'm co-founder of Millennial Money and I'm also a legal transformation manager.
I'm from London. I work in tech.
What's the most expensive thing that you own?
The most expensive thing I own is probably my house, or flat rather. So joint own that with my girlfriend, and we bought that about 6 weeks ago, so pretty new.
Okay, this is debatable if I own it or not. So I recently bought a property at the start of this year. Some people would say, well, I say that it's a big IOU to the bank. All I've got is a massive post-it note, which I signed as a contract. And I'm in the most debt I've ever been in my life.
Most expensive thing, I'm not homeowner gang like some of these rich men out here, but I'd say probably my laptop, which is like £2 grand. My car, I think my car, which in this market, the secondary car market is going up in value at the moment. So.
I just want to find out from you, do you think, your personal opinion, do you think money buys you happiness?
I don't think money buys you happiness. I think money does buy you freedom, and then it's up to you how you use that freedom.
I think it's probably too binary of a question to say, does money buy you happiness? Because yes, in certain circumstances it can. If you can afford to, have a nice home, go on nice holidays, in that sense, yes, it can buy you happiness. But just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. There's a lot of factors that go into being happy.
Money doesn't buy you happiness, but what money does give you is security. And in the absence of security, we are anxious, we're worried, and that can be classed as unhappy.
I think there's loads of people who have a lot of money and don't know what to do with it, and are painfully unhappy.
I went recently to the Middle East for 3 weeks and traveled around a few different countries. And the big thing that I took away from that is that the people that were the most happy were the ones who didn't have that much. They lived a very basic lifestyle. I kind of envied them a little bit because we get caught up in London a lot of the time about having the nicest house, or the nicest car, or the newest phone. And in reality, none of that stuff matters.
So I think it's something that can definitely facilitate happiness, but money on its own definitely won't bring you happiness.
What are your money vices or guilty spending pleasures? There's a few.
So I know that you're thinking, Niaz, that I'm probably going to say takeaways, but I've actually only had one takeaway since I moved into my house. So that's almost 2 months, one takeaway. Pretty proud of myself. But that's not to say that the takeaways won't come back in the future.
Let me show you.
Biggest one at the moment would be trainers. I'm not saying I'm a sneakerhead, I'm definitely not. But I have a tendency to spend money unnecessarily on trainers, and they go in spurts usually. So it's a case of I'll buy a pair this week and I'll want another pair next week, just because you start browsing for a new pair, and in browsing you find loads of different trainers that you like the look of. I'm guilty of buying a couple. I've got these in 2 colorways, definitely not necessary.
So I'd say here, these are my guilty pleasures, and it's probably where a lot of my money goes. I'm not too much of a hype beast, though my friends do take the piss and think that sometimes I try to be. And I'm not too much of a sneakerhead, so I know a lot of people spend a lot of money on those things.
That's a really good one.
But for me, I'd say my money goes firstly probably on tech. As you can see here, Apple well and truly has me in a headlock. Like anything Apple release, I'm so easy to market to. I'll probably buy all of it. But I don't mind it, I get great utility out of it. I know some of their products people have loads of question marks over, and I'm probably being tracked all the time. But I just love Apple products.
Other vices, I guess, eating out or going on holiday. So when my girlfriend and I were on holiday recently, we kind of just had no sort of control when it came to like spending money. We kind of just said yes to everything. Our view was like, we're on holiday, let's enjoy ourselves. And then the money just kind of turned into Monopoly money. But we had a great time, so no regrets there.
The other thing I would say is I spend a lot of money on coffee, which is very topical, but it brings me joy. I think I have at least one barista coffee every day. It's usually how I start my mornings. And finally, I'd say I'd spend a lot of money on holidays. I think that's one place. When I'm on holiday, it's something that I look forward to. I don't really think about how much I'm spending, but it's usually something that I'm prepared for.
What's the most you've spent on a holiday?
Oh, I'm not sure I can answer that. It was for my girlfriend's 30th, and it was a lot, but I don't really want to throw a figure out.
I can confirm it was a lot.
What's the best thing you bought recently?
Best thing, hands down.
Ooh.
A massage gun. So I recently started playing football again. I try my best to live like a active and healthy lifestyle. But buying a massage gun was an absolute game changer. I've used it every single day since I bought it. I got it on same day delivery off Amazon, and I have no regrets.
Air fryer. So it wasn't actually my own money. My dad gave me some money for a moving in present. I told him what I wanted, but he couldn't be bothered to buy it himself, so he gave me the money. But went out and bought an air fryer, got this big Ninja, like dual compartment air fryer. So you can do 2 separate things at once. You can do different settings. And honestly, it's changed my life. Like, you can just cook things so much quicker. Something that would take like 40 minutes in the oven, would take maybe 15 minutes in the air fryer. So I would definitely recommend getting one.
See, I can't say air fryer now because Shaq said it.
Other than that, a NutriBullet. I'm someone who is a creature of comfort and of convenience, and a NutriBullet has made it so easy for me to get my calories in, have a healthy breakfast, or just a random little snack during the day.
This is gonna sound ridiculous, but there is a Velux mop that I bought, which has made cleaning my house a lot easier, and I get so much utility from. Other than that, I would say it has to be my Apple laptop. This is the new MacBook Pro with the M1 chip. It wasn't cheap, but honestly, the amount of utility I get out of it has been amazing. I do so much of my work on MacBooks. I've been trying to convince Shaq to switch to Macs for a long time. I just think they're amazing products. They're so quick. And most of my workflow is done through this MacBook. Yeah, I just love it. It's a lot of money, but it was so easy to market to me. And I'd say it's just given me so much comfort in all of my work. So this is definitely, it's pricey, but probably one of the best things I've bought recently.
Switching it up a bit, what's the dumbest thing you spent money on?
Okay, this one.
Dumbest thing.
Where do we start?
I've bought a few things that I've just kind of never used. So when I was in the early stages of becoming Beard Gang, I thought I would buy my own razor shaver. And I spent 50 quid on one, and that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and swear to God, I've used it twice in that time.
Wow, I've bought so many dumb things. I'd say recently, like I said, I was tired, I was hungry, and that's when it's really easy to market to people. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw these trousers, which I thought would look sick on me. And they were like cropped, like quilted trousers. Sounds ridiculous as I'm describing it. They look good on the model. I ordered them, and when they arrived, I tried them on and it just looked like I was wearing cricket pants. So I'd say I have been victim to, how would you call it, false marketing, or did I just look crap in it? I'd say a bit of both, but I bought some stupid stuff online which I thought would look great on me and it looked terrible.
It has a functional use. I've recently bought a standing desk, one of the electric ones. It's a really nice gimmick, and it seems like when you buy it at first, you can stand all day. All my meetings are gonna do standing, and you do that for the first couple of weeks. And then after that, you get so bored of it. It has no function. I can't remember the last time I pushed the desk up. I actually don't know if it works anymore at this point. But if you're someone who wants to try it, give it a go, but you have to be really restricting yourself to get your money's worth. What's the best piece of financial advice you've ever been given?
I think a couple, there are a couple that come to mind. So the first was from my dad when I got my first proper job back in 2016. He told me to just start paying into my pension. So it's opt-in now anyway, but I know that a few people that did opt out of their pension. So he told me to stay in it and then also to increase the amount that I was contributing if I could. And I think that's been great because it's just meant that been steadily investing into my future, and hopefully by the time I retire, should have a decent amount. And then I think the second piece of advice actually came from Niaz, and it's when we first started our kind of millennial money journey. It was just around paying yourself first. So I'm not particularly great with money. I am quite frivolous when it comes to spending, but by paying myself first and making sure that all bills are paid and investing as soon as I receive my pay slip, it means that I can just spend the rest of the money that I have kind of guilt-free and not worried that I'm overspending.
One of the biggest things that I've really adopted over the last few years is don't let lifestyle inflation get the better of you. You work so hard to get that new promotion and with it, negotiate a good pay rise. But for so many of us, what tends to happen is we get that pay rise and then our lifestyle increases alongside it. We start buying more expensive things, going on more holidays, eating out a lot more, which is of course great. Like we should enjoy the money that we work so hard to make. But at the end of the month, if we're left with the same or less money that we had initially when we were on the old salary in our old role, then actually you're not any better off than you were to start off with. Even though you're living a more lavish lifestyle, in theory, you're not any better off.
As someone who's not naturally good with money, I can spend so frivolously and so easily. I'm so easy to market towards. It was just to hold myself to account and be accountable for my spending. It's something that we've gone on to like teach in workshops and spoken about a lot. But as soon as I started to really hold myself accountable for my spending and look at exactly where my money was going and where I wanted it to go, it took away the decision making from myself, because I'm known to be quite a poor decision maker sometimes, but taking away a lot of that discretion and decision making from myself and holding myself to account when it came to my money honestly transformed my finances and general well-being. So I would say hold yourself to account, or the phrase that I use, I don't know if I coined it, but I'm going to claim it, is to be your own accountant.
Finally, what's the worst investment you've made?
Oh my God, where's my phone? Let me pull out my trading 212.
All right, there's a few. The biggest one would be a couple of years ago. As lockdown hit, we had a lot more spare time. Everyone's trying to make a second income stream, thinking about how they can make a little bit more money. My bad investment was Ideanomics, which is in the EV space. We were all thinking it's going to be the next Tesla. It's so undervalued. They're opening factories and distribution centers in China all over the world. 2 years later, I'm sitting at a 60% loss. I also made the terrible mistake of trying to average down the buy price as it was going down. Kept going down. So what I'd say is, if you're investing, set a budget and stick to that budget. Don't get caught in with the ups and downs. But I haven't sold it yet. I'm still holding out that one day, fingers crossed, Ideanomics is gonna come through and I'm gonna have an absolutely massive holiday off the back of it.
I've made some poor investments, but I thought they were sick investments at one point. I've made some good investments too, right? Individual stocks, I think we understand, is generally the riskier part of your investment portfolio. So I will caveat this by saying I was prepared to lose this money. However, I did think it was going to make me a millionaire. Similar to some of my friends and loads of people watching, you might have experienced this like in 2020, 2021, when we had a massive bull run, everything was up. I was about 60 to 80% up on most of my stock picks, and I just thought it would stay that way. I invested in a company called Jumia, which was touted to be like the Amazon of Africa. If I open up my trading 212 now, which I haven't done in a long time, I think I'm holding like 80% losses on it. So it's probably one of my worst investments. I did cash out of some investments, luckily, before the massive dip. But I'd say that was pure luck. But I understand when I approach making stock picks, it's money that I'm willing to lose, because I understand it's probably the riskier part of my portfolio.
So after 2020, I thought I was like a stock picking legend. Everything was up, 150%. I thought I was going to be a millionaire. And then the market correction came, lost a lot of those gains. I've invested in a few stocks that are down kind of 60, 70%. So, and some even more. So Fiverr, Tilray, BlackBerry, the list goes on.
Yeah, one thing that's come up recently is just remind yourself that we work to live, not live to work. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Follow Millennial Money for more content like this. Thank you.